Trentham Councillor Roger Ibbs, the news today that Rob Fladlow has given to the media is that Jim Knight has had a change of heart somewhat, and he's allowing a proposal for 14 schools, and that 14 school could well be Trentham. How do you react to that?
Well, obviously the Trentham Action Group will be thrilled to bits, and as a ward councillor I'm thrilled that the school has been mentioned as being preferred to be maintained. The difficulty I have is that it isn't 12 months ago that Mr Knight said there were only going to be 12 schools. Then we went to 13 schools. We tried to get that as Trentham, but we were told no, it had to be a school in the north. It was James Brindley. Only a matter of a few months ago, we were saying, are we sure we're sticking to 13 schools? Yes, we are. We've taken all this crap, and I say this crap, I certainly have, and the council have, for a minister that tells us, no, I will stand firm, that's all you're getting, and then at the end of the day, he says, no, we'll go from 13 to 14 schools. I'm pleased, obviously, thrilled to bits that Trentham High School has been put out as one to be maintained. I have to say, and I don't want to put a cautious note on it, but if they're going to go ahead with the Blurton Academy or the Blurton School, and they're going to do Thistleyhough as well, it must place great pressure on the numbers at Trentham. I hope it can survive. I certainly won't do anything now to vote or to support its closure, but I do believe that they have to look at the numbers for the future.
Let's clear this up 100%. Are you saying to us that at no time in the last 2 years, while all the Trentham Action Group's fight's been going on, that the government have given you any inclination that this school could be closed, could be saved, and was probably earmarked for closure?
They've given us absolutely none whatsoever. You don't think Ross and I would have gone through all the turmoil that we've gone through if we believed that there was a chance to keep Trentham. It's a sop to Rob Fladlow. Congratulations to him. He's put pressure on the government, and so therefore they're saying Trentham can be the 14th school. I don't know how they justify that, because I don't know about the numbers, but let me tell you now, there's no way I'm going to do anything other than support the retention of Trentham. If they want to work those schools out, don't work from the north to the south. Start off with the fact Trentham exists and work the whole of your, the rest of your scheme, your BSF proposals from that base. So I'm thrilled to bits, but I'm also very, very annoyed that we've been led up the garden path by Jim Knight. We were told 13 schools was the absolute maximum, and now he's saying 14. We could have done this 12 months ago.
You're outside the EMB now, Roger. How do you think that the EMB are now going to react? I mean, given the fact that the Trentham issue was taken off the agenda of the last EMB meeting, the next EMB meeting is on the 15th of April. What do you expect the EMB to do now?
Well, I don't know, because the reality is that the advice we've been given is that even if there were 14 schools, it wouldn't have been Trentham that was the 14th school. But that situation's changed. No matter what the theory is, the minister is saying, yes, you can keep Trentham, so you have to work everything from Trentham. You represent Longton governors. We've closed Longton. In reality, or we're closing, sorry, we haven't closed. In reality, would that same situation have arisen? You've got to look at the whole of BSF again, that the idea that you can just suddenly plonk one school and not change anything else, I don't think is realistic. But the school is going to be saved. That's what we've been told today. That's what we'll have to work to.
I'm going to ask you this question as a Conservative now and a ward councillor. Mark Meredith is a Labour mayor, and yet he's been derailed by the decision of a Labour minister. Do you think that makes his position untenable?
I don't know about Mark's, to be honest with you, and I'm not here just to defend Mark. I think there's obviously isn't that much honour with regard to ministers when they tell you behind the scenes, no, definitely it's going to be 13 schools. I think the person who ought to answer for his actions firstly is Jim Knight. He could have done this 12 months ago. We've gone along on the view that there were going to be 13 schools. I can't blame Mark Meredith for that, because I've gone along with the decisions and supported them. If there were going to be 13 schools, and if Trentham couldn't be saved, these proposals are good ones, and they are good proposals. But for the sake of politics, we now got 14 schools, so we'll have to adjust them.
As a former EMB holder, as a former group leader,
Thank you for reminding me.
I'd just like to ask you this. How do you feel now that this change of heart in these proposals is going to make an already unpopular EMB, is it going to make them even more unpopular now?
Well, I don't know. EMB of any sense, and I'm not on there. They'll get behind these proposals and they'll just revamp BSF. I don't think we could probably be more unpopular, to be honest with you. Having done the bidding of a Labour minister, I must say I'm cheesed off. But I wasn't doing it because he was a Labour minister. I actually think the BSF proposals were good. On 13 schools. On 14 schools, it's a different matter. But my advice to the MB, if they needed it, I'm sure they wouldn't take it, would be don't even consider the justification for 14 schools. There will be 14 schools, and work the proposals around it, and that means Trentham will be saved. Nobody will believe this. I'm really pleased that Trentham can be saved, but they're going to have to look to the numbers. This is not just a simple matter of, oh, Trentham will be saved. If they weren't going ahead with the Blurton site, and they were going to move the Blurton site further east, then I don't think that would affect Trentham too much. But I don't see how you can have a 1200 school in Blurton and see Trentham being able to thrive right by the side of it, a matter of hundreds of yards away. That was the justification for closing Mitchell and Berry Hill, is because of Holden Lane and Birch's Head. So, but whatever, it doesn't matter now, the theory. The school is going to be saved.
Well, as a ward councillor now, and as a long time protagonist really of the Trentham Action Group, and it hasn't been comfortable for you and it hasn't been comfortable for them, but as a ward councillor now, can the Trentham Action Group and the people of Trentham rely on your support to do everything that you can to make sure that that school now stays on Trentham, and you would work with them to make sure that they have got the numbers to be sustainable going forward?
When we were told it was 13 and Trentham couldn't exist, I stuck to my guns. I still stick to my same guns, and that is, I actually believe the proposals, to be honest with you, were not bad proposals, but they were bad for Trentham. I will not do anything to see Trentham close at all. Every vote that I am asked to give, it will be on the basis that Trentham remains as a school. Whether I think that is the right way or not doesn't matter, because Trentham now exists and will continue to exist. It will get my full support.
But can they now rely on you to actually become more proactive on their behalf in, making sure that Trentham has the numbers, you work with them on the numbers, and, you really stand up and fully support them?
Oh yes, no question at all. I never wanted Trentham to close. It was only on the advice that we were being given that Trentham wasn't in 13 or even 14. But that advice is now being changed. The Minister has changed his mind. There can now be a 14 school, and that school can now be Trentham. It will be Trentham, and it will be supported by Ross and myself and I think the whole council.
Roger, thanks very much.